Jesus says, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. Why is he telling them don't store up for yourselves treasures on earth? Because they're not going to last. It's not simply that it's the wrong thing to do. It's the stupid thing to do. But Jesus says, turn it around. Store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. Then if you know me, you're going to heaven. Then every day of your life, if your treasures are in heaven, you're getting closer to your treasures instead of moving away from your treasures. He who spends his life moving away from his treasures has reason to despair. He who spends his life moving toward his treasures has reason to rejoice. This life is just a dot. And from that dot extends a line, and that line is going to go out forever. We all live in the dot, but if we're smart, we're not going to live for the dot. We're going to live for the line with the people of God. God who will live forever, people who will live forever, his word which will live forever. So live your life now while you're in the dot in light of the line, investing in the line. What's going to matter after you die?
Randy, thank you. Bro, the dot and the line. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Well, even as we're talking about giving, we're talking about as we live in the dot, this short life here on earth. And I mean, if you live well into your 90s, it's still very short. Like, what percentage of the total time that you will live ahead from now on will this life be? Well, ultimately, it'll be way less than 1/billionth, and it'll keep getting smaller percentage-wise, right? So in other words, it's really short-sighted just to be living for that dot that we live in right now. But God would have us to take an eternal perspective that looks beyond the dot to the line where we're going to spend eternity with Christ. So now, in this life, let's do things that will matter forever in the line. So when we give, for instance, to feed hungry people, and we give to get the gospel to people, we give to get scriptures to people in their heart language, which we as a church do, and some of you as individuals do as well, to these various ministries. Well, then what we're doing is we're giving to something that is going to truly count for eternity. So giving is a way of moving the treasures from this life to the next life, so that one day we're going to sit at these great banquet tables in the resurrection, and we're going to eat and drink together. And Jesus repeatedly said we're going to do that. And when that time comes, we're going to have the privilege of thanking people who did so much for us and invested in our lives. And then we're going to have the overwhelming privilege, I think it's going to stun us, of having people come to us and say, thank you for giving. When you gave to Good Shepherd Community Church, this is how it affected me. When you gave in that special missions offering, this is how it affected me. In some cases, it literally saved lives, and in other cases, it got people the gospel, the good news of great joy.